Hello and welcome to Teens Should Know, the show where we listen, learn and grow. The TSK show is where teenagers are empowered with the right knowledge to thrive and parents are equipped with the tools to guide them, because when teenagers know better, they do better. And my name is Ifoma the Prof Wato. I'm your host on the TSK show. In today's world of viral videos, fast fame and influencer culture, education is facing a new kind of scrutiny, and a recent TikTok rant mocking master degree holders has reignited a heated conversation, and that conversation is: formal education still relevant? Are degrees becoming outdated trophies in a world driven by digital hustle and social media influence? Or are they still powerful tools for building a lasting future? This is a conversation we must have, because our teenagers are getting distracted. They are beginning to question a whole lot of things. So on today's episode of the TSK show, we are cutting through the noise to uncover the real value of education in today's digital age. And joining me on today's show is an expert who knows both the power of academic achievement and the demands of a tech-driven world. So get ready for an honest, insightful conversation that every teenager, every parent, and every young adult needs to hear. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about degrees, dreams, and the digital hype, the hyping on social media, from TikTok to X to Instagram and all of that. So the question is education still worth it? And we'll find out if education still worth it. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll meet our guests. Stay tuned.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Welcome back to the TSK show, and we'll be meeting our guest for today's episode right away. So I have someone in the studio today. He is a visionary entrepreneur and a sales strategist. He has a background in biochemistry, and he's blending scientific training with real world business experience. So I'm going to be introducing him right away. I have Mr. Michael Osiago. Did I get the name?
Yeah, it's pronounced Osiago.
Osiago.
Yeah.
Okay, and it sounded like it's not a Nigerian name.
It is. I'm from River State, so it is Nigerian.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be unpacking a whole lot. I'm sure you heard what is happening in the social media about the TikTok influencer who said brought master degree holders and said he just wants them to hold his camera and he's going to pay them 500k, like 500 Nigerian
thousand nairas.
What do you have to say about that?
Firstly, we have to go back to what is before we start looking at some of these side attractions that are happening now. The truth is, we are in a capitalist society, and hence, as long as a capitalist is ready to pay, there would be people who would be ready to work.
Okay.
So that part is what we need to put as the ground foundation. So whatever he wants to put the price tags for his jobs he's offering, that's completely up to him, and he has given a job description. So now it's left for individuals to say, okay, based on what I have, based on the values I have, this is below me, this is above me, this is what I can do. So based on that, I think that's basically why anyone would apply for such a job. So it's still in line with what the capitalist society is expected to see. Yeah.
Okay, but there's too much noise and controversies about that, and people began to mock education. So why do you think people are mocking education?
We need to correct something. People are not mocking education. People are mocking certificates.
Okay, they are mocking certificates.
Certificates, yes.
Like the master degree holder. Like,
yeah. that way. Now, when we look at the framework of education, remember, this is a capitalist society, and now for us to even understand what this really means as a capitalist society, we need to fall back to the four factors of production that even brought about the essence of the formal education we have now. So we have the land, we have the labor, we have capital, we have the entrepreneur. So if someone wants to be an entrepreneur, he must handle these other factors of production properly. And that was why education, the formal education came into place so that people can learn how to fall in place into these areas, especially labor. So the essence of you going to school and learning is at the end of the day, you can become a good laborer.
Okay.
Now, if you move out from the school system, now you look into education, now you are stepping into the framework where you understand the systems that work and make people become entrepreneurs. Now, when you learn and become educated, you are able to control or will the four factors of production. And these four factors of production are changing over time. Now, we are in a decade, we are now in a decade or an era that has moved from land the way it originally used to be in the agrarian industrial age. Now we are moving, some years back, we saw a little change. After the COVID stuff, a lot of stuffs have changed. So the platform for operation now has completely changed. Facebook has taken the front row. They said they changed their name to Meta. Now from Facebook, now they talk about Meta as their name and featuring or projecting themselves into the metaverse. And why this is important for us to understand is that the rules are changing again.
Okay.
The rules of production, the rules of the universe is changing again. There was the industrial age where you need to till the soil. There was that age where you needed to till the soil, and how much land you had represented how much wealth you control. But now the rules are changing, and once these rules are changing systematically, it is important that people now educate themselves to align with these recent changes, right? So that is what makes education paramountly important.
Yeah.
Now, I don't see people see the hype between masters, degree, masters, BSc, PhD. The essence of education starts at the preliminary level, the secondary school education. That's the most anyone should have. And people don't even approach that with the seriousness it ought to apply. Because if you must be a master of these factors of production that propels you to becoming this set of people now that call out for jobs, you must know commerce. These are secondary school, normal secondary school lessons we learn, but people overlook them. Now, commerce is not just about learning trades. Commerce is about trades and how international relations happen. But people don't understand this when you go through the commerce class in. So there's economics.
Well, is most of the people in science classes don't go through.
And that's science also has its role and has its uniqueness.
Okay.
Now, let's put art first, because art, as it's called in Nigeria, is actually social sciences, and which determines how the world runs. So you're not looking at government. Government tells you what are the rules of leadership, what are the areas, how do you even engage in your own country. Now there is history, takes you back to where your country is coming from, what is the projected vision of this country, where it's going to, and there is economics, we've talked about economics, and there's account. This is how you manage money, this is how you multiply money, this is how you even get income. That's all these little things we overlooked in secondary school. These are basic for you to thrive in this economy. Now, if you've gotten this basic, forget about whether you have masters or all that. Now, the question is, with the education we've gotten, what kind of people ought we to be in this era? That's the major question. What kind of person ought any teenager, what kind of person ought any Nigerian youth to be in this changing or evolutionary stage that the world has gone into? COVID happened, took us from physical things to a digitalized platform. Now,
that's where I want us to get to.
Now we are
digital platform.
yes. Now, At every junction, when the world or the universe we know is revolutionarily moving or changing, things would happen to provoke or to evoke that rapid change. Now, COVID happened. People were still struggling to get into the digital space. COVID happened, kept everybody at home. Nobody was going to farm. Nobody was going outside. So everybody was indoor, and people started metamorphosing into the digital space. Now, and if you take key note of this, from COVID year 2020 till now, 2020, 2019 till now, a lot of millionaires have sprung out from the digital space.
Exactly.
So it's not about body shaming what any person decides to do with that knowledge or that educational practice they've engulfed, and then they are showing out what the digital space can be. It's not for us to body shame these people, but now to look into ourselves. I have the same educational qualities as this person. Let's say he did primary school, he has secondary school, and that's where he stops. But he understands how to control these factors of production. Labor, once you have money, people can always come to work for you. And the kind of work they do now is not tilling the soil. So people that are shouting, you're not tilling the soil, but it's labor. And who pays determines what the labor is for them.
Okay. Let's bring it to the digital world.
Okay.
We're talking about.
Yeah.
We are looking at the young people. We are looking at teenagers.
Yeah.
What does this mean to them? Because when we look at it, we see that we've come to the platform where people are using their social media handles to make money, just like the TikTok influencers. Now, I want to ask, like you've mentioned different sectors, the production, the labor, and the rest of it. Now, the TikTok or the social media or the digital platform, do we call it a skill? Do people acquire money? Is it now a skill? Is it luck? And is it something that can last?
If it's something that can last, if it's skill, if it's luck, okay, let's look at this. And as I said, as an entrepreneur, everybody must, if you must make money, you must understand how to wield the four factors of production. Times has changed, and we are now in an era where land is no longer the soil you till. Land now in this era is the metaverse. Land now is the digital space. So the next factor of production, now that we've established that the world has been moving, the world is already moving, and we're now at the metaverse phase, we're now looking at Web 3.0, we are looking at a lot of blockchain technology coming up, platforms are coming up, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those platforms are coming up. Everybody is now going towards the metaverse. You're having AI, you're having all that forms, artificial learning and all that happening now. So now that we've understood that the land has changed, land is no longer the soil you till, but land is now your Facebook page, your Instagram page, those handles.
The lands are now in the air.
Yes. So the lands are now, how many followers do you have? How many million followers, how many thousand followers you have on these platforms? These platforms now are the current land in our time. So the next thing you're looking at now is what other factors of production do you need to make the best in this era? And remember I said earlier, now we've gotten the basic education, which is the secondary school education. You know commerce, you know accounting, you know all this part. If you go to the science also, science would also tell you that when you've learned from the art end, you now come to science and they'll teach you leverage. Now, that's in physics. Now, what are you to leverage on right now? People. The more buzz you make on the social media space, it reflects to more followers, more traction, and the more traction you get, the more engagement you make on your platforms, the more money you make.
So do you think it's something that will last?
When people looked at the Industrial Revolution changing, people thought it wouldn't last.
Okay.
Now, that has happened. We are now in another phase. So whether it's going to last or it's not going to last, it shouldn't be your worry at this point. Your worry should be the world is evolving. The world is changing. What kind of person ought I to be at this point to ensure that as this globe is changing. How do I position myself and be relevant in this particular time? So everybody that has a Facebook handle, a TikTok handle, should now start becoming a person that puts out their thought process there. Because no matter how ignorant your thought process is, there are people that would engage with you. Someone called, I think, can I call names here? There's this, recent influencer that started with his experience as financial mistakes and not financial mistakes, and people started engaging with him from that level. And over time, he has gotten to that point where he's now taking more professional programs. I guess at this point, you see him now traveling traveling the world, traveling different countries, and then trying to add more vitality to that particular thought process that he was dishing out. It just started with, okay, I did something like this, and I think that's a financial mistake.
Okay, he started talking
About
his
those mistakes, yes, and saying if people do this, you've made a financial mistake. If people do this kind of thing by this age, it's a financial mistake. If you build a house by this age, it's
So
a
it all
so
boils down on what you're using your own platform to
yes,
do and understanding how much money, because at the end of all these things, what we are looking at is
resources.
what you're making out of it. Oh, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation. It's more like what we are even doing now is part of the education, because you're educating me and the audience and everybody watching us. So we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, Michael will continue to tell us why we need not to discard basic education as young people. Please do not go anywhere.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
All right, welcome back, and we've been having a conversation about the essence of education. It's been a powerful conversation so far, one that really challenges us to rethink the way we view education in this fast-paced digital world. While some voices online may downplay degrees, today we've heard why education still matters deeply. And before we wrap up, I'm going to be asking a few questions to our guest, and somehow it's going to be personal questions. Okay, Mr. Michael, what have education taught you? Like, what did school teach you that social media influencers did not teach you?
These are two questions
Yeah.
coupled together. What did school, what did education? So, as I've said earlier, education does not stop in school. Even after your graduation, you start learning. That's even when the learning process starts, because what the school only does is pique your curiosity. So you now get to that point where you are now curious, you want to know, and you now know how to even read, you now know how to search online. So you take these tools and start looking for answers. So for that, I would say education has exposed me, school first has exposed me to that form of curiosity, and going through the educational process that doesn't end. It's continuous learning. The more you grow, the more you know, the more you want to know. It's helped me to position myself better in business and other areas. As we know better, we do better.
Yeah. That's what I believe too. Because when teenagers also know better,
Yeah.
they will do better. So do you think education helps in building people's character? Because this TikTok influencer that we assumed somehow that brought up the controversies, that he was ridiculing master degree holders and education in Nigeria. We had another influencer call up people who have master degree holders for a job, but his job description was far much better because he too was doing his PhD and he was doing research, and he was looking for people, I think research assistants or thereabout, and people were now looking at these two people, and this one is a PhD holder, this one I think he just dropped at the secondary school level, that this person has more character because he added some little kind of respect and more details in his own
approach.
So do you think education helps people to build character?
Even the university degree you get, they will put it in writing, in character, and in learning. One thing that people fail to really grasp, especially teenagers and most people overlook these things, is that the school system, although how flabbergasted it is right now, the school system has one thing it does to any human being. It disciplines you.
Okay.
Now, people see themselves as after school, you're now free, but school helps to discipline your time frame. It tells you when to wake up, when to do A, when to do B, how to approach A, how to approach B. Now, these are things that are becoming the fundamentals or the building block of character. When you live in your parents' house, some parents don't really care when what should be done or when not to do what. But once you get into the school block, they shape how you think, they shape how you behave. Some schools, and that's why I would advise parents, if you have the wherewithal, if you have the funds, please send your children to private institutions. That's just my personal bias.
Okay,
that's my personal opinion. The reason is this: the public sector gives you liberty, but when you go to the private space, you are checkmated. Your activities are regimented. These are the things that helped me, because you should be in class from A to B.
Okay.
And you know that from C to D, this is what you should be doing. So unconsciously, it sinks inside you. So I've gotten to a space where you just come out, and some people would come out, they eat something, they throw it out. But most people that go through the school, private sectors, and those schools go through them.
You just I wanted to say that it's not about going to the school, going
the first time you'd come out, you see things absurd, because even at the university level in the private sectors, you see that some people complain that they punish them even in school. So
and that's why they call it glorified
secondary school. Yes, that is what they call. But if you look at it from the overall point of view, it is disciplining you to become a kind of person.
A responsible person.
So you don't just do things anyhow. So someone can come out and you're looking at this person. Why are you even doing? You walk around, someone will just eat something from the road and they flink it, and it doesn't bother them.
And these are the things school should
Yes. So it helps to shape you, and that's why I said it builds your curiosity. So if you take it from that angle, like most of the things I pointed out, most people go through schools and they don't pay attention to that. So when you allow school go through you, it builds your curiosity to start personal journey to finding out better things for yourself, from education to way of living to leadership and other areas. So I think that should cover it. School is necessary, even though that is not the all there is to education, but it is necessary because it helps in the building block that helps you pursue education in its totality.
Okay, before we go, because of our time, what do you have to say to a teenager watching us this time who is getting distracted because of what they see online, the quick money syndrome, so to say, and the fast fame, the rising, when people believe that there's no need of going to school, when you just set your ring light, set your camera, have 1 million followers, Meta is paying you, so there's no need of going through those stress of waking up early morning, rushing to lectures and the rest of it. So what do you say to that teenager?
To that teenager out there listening to this conversation, I would say there's two things in this. One is there's what is actually happening currently, and there is what is going on. What's going on now is that there is a change in what the world would become in the next 20, 30 years. So it is important you take personal development very important at this point and start re-educating yourself to fit into this new evolution that is happening. Mr. Beast came up a few years ago and he's blast now. A lot of people like that are trailing the blaze out there. So it's just for you, educate yourself. What is really going on and how do I position myself to make the best of this? As I said earlier, and this is where I close, it is not all about education. It's not all about school. All this information we've gathered and what we've turned out to be, the question at this point is, what kind of person ought we to be right now to make the best decisions or the best out of what is happening?
Wow. A wonderful conversation it has been. So thank you, Mr. Michael,
Thank you.
for coming to the TSK show. Well, to the viewers out there, they say when nonsense becomes familiar, it starts to feel normal, and once it feels normal, it becomes acceptable. Because when we see people come up, set ring lights, and say controversial things, we think it's a normal thing to do. So, and that's how standards begin to drop. But at the end of the day, education isn't just about certificates, like he said. It's about capacity. It's not the only part, but it remains a very powerful one. So whether you are pursuing a degree, learning a trade, or figuring out your next step, just choose growth over shortcuts. So it's a wrap for today on the TSK show, and my name is Ifoma the Prof Mwato, your host, and I will see you again same time next week. Keep thriving.